Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the only live Monday through Friday lacrosse talk show on the planet. I'm your host, Michael Karvelis, and this is Daily Dive. It is Monday, February 16th, 2026, and this show begins now. We are live streaming via the airwaves of North American Talk Radio on YouTube. This past weekend, we had two college lacrosse games. Illinois Wesleyan does a great job with their production. It is almost criminal that team is not more popular. Again, I just don't know how a D3 school can be that good at camera work and broadcasting, but I'm not even mad. They did a great job if you're into the field lacrosse thing. We also have other great videos and live shows, including this one. On today's awesome show, NLL Week 12 overreactions. We'll have Pat Gregoire and captain. We'll also have 3 stars of the weekend. There'll also be a surprise somewhere in there, so hold on to your hats on that one. We don't know when it'll be, but it's going to happen. So hopefully no one gets confused or scared when it happens. I need to stop talking before it does. Okay, so that's going to be today's show. We want to remind you that there is NLL merch found at natalkradio.us/NLL. In fact, in my Amazon cart right now, I have a Long Island Moon Jellyfish shirt queued up. I've got an Alex Simmons Firewolves shirt queued up. Folks, I also realized this. So at first we got like the couple of player jersey shirts, the jerseys they call them. We've got the sweatshirts. Then came the unboxed. Folks, I'm pleased to announce I came across this, I believe, a Friday or Saturday. There is now way more player shirts. So I believe Halifax has got a few. I couldn't remember if Georgia had theirs up yet, but it was really awesome. Every team has at least 3 guys. It looks incredible. It feels like we're getting close to the mega launch. So again, keep an eye on natalkradio.us/NLL, and get it before everyone else does. Because I better hurry up and jump on that stuff, because I'm be out of luck here. All right, let's bring on the man who was overshadowed in the booth for the first time in a long time. Pat Gregoire, sir, you are no longer the star of the NLL broadcast, just so you know.
I don't think that was ever the case anyways, Mike, but
that's fair.
Super honored and was excited to be a part of history the other night. Mackie did an unbelievable job doing play-by-play. I knew she would. I've listened to her before call different lacrosse games, but she elevated her level, and it's awesome to see all the love and support she's getting across the sports media landscape right now. It's unbelievably well deserved, and I've said it once, I'll say it again. Mackie's no longer a budding star in lacrosse media.
Yes.
She's a budding star in sports media across all of sports media. She is destined for some great things.
But we are selfish, so no, she's lacrosse media. That's all we need to know right now.
Absolutely.
She's not on the market, folks. Right.
No, she's restricted restricted if she ever becomes a free agent. Okay, we got to keep her in lacrosse.
I like that. All right, 3 games to get to with Pat today. They're going to be that Birds game in Halifax where the Bandits won. We have the Rush Warriors in overtime, Swarm at Roughnecks game, and then of course Greggy's Grinder and Mike's Lunchbox. Should be a fun one today. I've only got 2 nominees today. What did you get out of the weekend, just for the record?
I've got 2 nominees and a winner.
I like that. Yeah, of course you got 1 up. There you go. All right, so the first one we're going to get to, by the way, love the Cool Bet Blue. That is a fantastic look for you. And the Castors! Yes! Oh, you dirty dog, you. How dare you, beating me to the punch here.
Yeah, this is an original. This is an original, though. This is not an Amazon special. This is I got this one from the Unbox series a couple of years ago when we were in Laval.
I should have done that. And by the way, before I get going on these games here, I do want to mention Los Angeles Lacrosse for a shirt, like with the I forgot which mascot is. That looks pretty cool to wear. That looks like a fun thing to look like. What is LA Lacrosse? Look it up. All right, so we're gonna get to the other part of California. It's called Halifax, California, if you will. Bandits win 11-10. Drew Hutchison did his best to save us in pressure. Buffalo went to 4-5. Halifax dropped to 3-6. Dane Smith once again led the team in shots on goal, but couldn't give me a best bets win. That's cool. I hit a ladder or whatever. We didn't care. Matt Finch had 41 saves. Mitch Snook came back and looked incredible. Stephen Keogh, 1 goal. But there's 2 questions here. The first one, we have to circle back to Mackie. First of all, how old is Mackie Jenner?
No, I actually don't know. I have no
idea.
What? I don't know her exact age.
She's like 25. I want to say 25.
Yeah, she's mid 20s. Yeah,
I like it. All right. Is she on a goat?
Not supposed to. I thought you weren't supposed to ask. Bad. Never mind.
Who cares? Is she on a GOAT trajectory?
Absolutely. 100%. I already said it. She is a budding star in sports media. She's brings passion. She brings knowledge. She brings validity. She is everything that you need in a broadcaster. She's versatile. She is now called a game on play-by-play, a game on color commentary, and a sideline reporter. I don't think there are many other broadcasters in the National Lacrosse League that have hit all 3. I know Jake Elliott is one to do so. I don't even know if Teddy's done sideline before. I'll have to double check with that. I've only done 2 of 3 for the NLL. So she also might be a first to do all 3 disciplines in the NLL. I mean, she continues just to break down barriers, to make history. So I think no doubt the sky is the limit when it comes to Mackie Jenner, not just for the game of lacrosse, but for whatever she sets her eyes on.
I know people might get bored of the broadcaster talk sometimes, even though it is about Mackie. But I do want people to realize, in my limited knowledge of it, those 3 disciplines, as you call them, are vastly different. The reporter voice, like just like the voice you have to have alone, like the tone you have to have is different each time. Like play-by-play, you have to have a loud, kind of commanding. Analyst is a little bit more breaking it down or getting excited, like Nick Ocello or yourself. And then you have the reporter who just has to basically do a news hit every so often. It's very different. And if someone that can hit all 3 it's ridiculous. I don't know how they do it. I could never be an analyst. I don't mind the other 2, but the analyst part would kill me. So I'm not going to go silly with this. I'm actually going to give an honest answer here. I am a fan of sports. And part of being a super fan of sports is the commentary that sits in your brain. Like when Ray Allen hits a corner 3, back to the corner, Ray Allen 3, bang! That part, you remember the play, you always hear the voice in your head every time. And that includes for me with football or basketball. It includes the NLL. Like when I think of a Wesley Berg clutch goal, I hear Cooper Berg say, Berg! It goes for me with NASCAR, with Boogity Boogity, with Daryl Waltrip, and then sports video games. Like this always goes crazy for me. So I say all that to say this. Mackie exceeded my expectations because I feel like she wasn't too high in big moments. She was not too boring in slow moments. And that to me is a hard thing to do. And finally, I've always said this before, and I'll say it again. The kid loves lacrosse. And I think that it's always evident no matter what she does. And that to me makes this even more impressive. It's not about the herstory or anything like that. She loves the sport and is very evident. I love it. So.
Well said, Mike. I think it is very, very apparent. You can see, you can hear the passion about the game in all her work.
My great. She made a commissioner. There you go. Brentford. Great conversation on TCB, by the way, even though it was sans Pat, but Teddy did a great job there. All right. Final question about this game. So the Bandits did win, but was this more about the Buffalo Bandits? They're back and they're on the right track, or is Halifax just not that good this year, man?
This is a fantastic question, Mike, because I do think, and I'm not ready to, hit the back button on the Buffalo Bandits, but I think this is where we're starting to realize, okay, they have a great opportunity to get themselves back into relevancy, get back into this playoff race and back into the playoffs. And once that happens, who knows? I still believe where this roster stands right now, it is not going to be good enough to make some noise in the playoffs. Sure. I still think they got to make one or two changes, but if they make one or two changes, look out. This is a team that you do not want to play in that first round as an underdog, as a lower seed. And then if they get into round two and then possibly the finals, bringing games back to Banditland, this team could be a problem. I thought they looked a lot more dangerous on offense. You see Dane Smith, he has been no doubt a cog for this offense. He's probably been the most consistent player in this offense. He still hasn't found his scoring touch just yet. Correct. 13 shots on goal, like you mentioned, only 1 goal, but he still managed to have 6 assists. Ian McKay was fantastic, made an impact all over the floor, not just offensively. Josh Burns started to look a little bit better. Togan Anacoke, I thought, was one of his better games of the year with 2 really great goals. It's just then, it's 2 points from Scanlon, 2 points from Buchanan, a goal from Banesh. You probably want a little bit more. They got some action in transition with Wires and Spanger. So that's where it leads to me is, I think they need a little bit more. So I will say it does show a little more about Buffalo being back, or at least on the way of being back. And they're a team that we have to give a little bit more respect. On the flip side with Halifax, listen, I actually thought this showed a lot for me for Halifax. The fact that they came out so flat, correct, lifeless at some points. And, Warren Hill makes 14 saves on 21 shots. He gets the yank. It's certainly not his best night, but I thought he kind of just got fed to the wolves. I thought he really, in a lot of those goals, had no chance in transition, 2-on-1s, wide open looks on top of the cage. Guys not boxing out defenders, rebounds getting picked up too easily. And then Hutchison comes in and shuts the door and was phenomenal, unbelievably phenomenal.
Yeah, 4 goals allowed.
And he allowed the team to get settled. Clark Peterson and Randy Stotts started to look more like themselves with each 7 points. Jason Knox, again, what a great secondary source he's been. Cody Jamieson was solid with 3 points. I thought Stephen Keogh, despite only getting a goal and assist, I thought he looked really good in that offense, freeing up space. He had 9 shots on goal, just didn't get a ton of luck. So for me, I actually think that the fact that they were able to battle back after being so flat in that first half leads me to believe, okay, this team maybe is not dead just yet. They've got a lot ahead of them still, sitting at 3-6. But when you look at their schedule, at San Diego, at Calgary, host Las Vegas, hosting Toronto, at Georgia, at Philly, hosting Rochester, at Vancouver, and then hosting Ottawa. I'm not saying it's an easy schedule, Mike.
It feels like 7 wins if they want it, though.
If they can, string things together and play like they played in the second half,
correct,
I think they could still get in. Are they a championship team that maybe some people at the start of the year thought, I think we can maybe put that to rest again, but once you get in the playoffs, who knows? But I don't think we're putting a fork in these guys just yet.
Correct.
But the road is getting, more challenging, but I think they have a pretty forgiving schedule. If they lose to San Diego, Mike, our conversation next Monday might be a little bit different.
Yeah. So lots to unpack there. It's funny because I kind of struggled with this question at first, but I kept reminding myself, Warren Hill has been pretty good all year, despite this game aside. Buffalo's offense was bound to do it to somebody eventually, hopefully. I think Buffalo's offense, like you said, it does need to be better, and they might be missing a piece or two, depending on who they get. Because Dane Smith taking all his shots, he keeps on leading the team in shots on goal. And usually he's not he can lead that core. He never dominates it, but that's what he keeps on doing, and that's concerning for me. I will add this about Halifax, because this game was very evident, as I thought coming in, that both teams were starving. And they both played, I thought, very well. The numbers came out flat, but it wasn't terrible for me. My answer to the question was that Buffalo's back, because Matt Vince when we asked him to not have a 75 save percentage, he was good and then added the Happy Valentine's Day just to say, bro, kind of like his version of relax. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to be, they're going to be okay. Either of these teams make the playoffs, they are hell for any team they play. I don't care how bad they look right now. And it was evident in this game. And but I do think both these teams need to keep stringing together wins. Because I've learned from Oshawa and Las Vegas, competitive is not good enough. You have to win games. So let's hope that both these teams go forward. I think it's better for the league when both these teams go forward, because how many sellouts do you need? Come on, man. So good for both teams. I'm going with Buffalo being back, though.
I think that's the right answer, Mike.
God bless you, sir. All right, Rush defeat the Warriors 9-8 in overtime. I called this possible game of the year. I also said it was my NLL Finals preview. I wish I would have had Colorado, but who cares? Saskatchewan's now 9-1. Vancouver slips to 6-3. So if these two teams make the postseason, Pat, how much 1 to 10 are you favoring Saskatchewan in the 3-game series? I am very curious of your answer because I need it in the worst way.
I'm going to say like a 6.
Okay.
Which is like a 60% chance probability if we want to look at it that way. And I would say that if like these two teams made it to the finals, Coolbet gets their odds out, I don't think we're looking at Saskatchewan as a -200 favorite to win the series.
Oh, yeah. Hope not that. Yeah.
I think they're looking at more of like a minus, 60 or -150, somewhere like that. I think it's a lot closer. I mean, heck, this game went into overtime. I think you give the edge because this Saskatchewan team has just been a well-oiled machine with the exception of one blip on the radar against Ottawa. They're playing so unbelievably well. Yeah. Even when they go through these lulls throughout games, they're able to bounce back. The offense doesn't matter who scores as long as, the green machine's hitting the back of the net. This is a team that I think would feel confident to get it done with the ball in the stick of anyone, even though it always seems to be Robert Church who's scoring that big goal for the team, even though he's, the guy, he's the elder statesman in that locker room, but he's a guy that continues to get it done and get it done time and time again. I just think that when you look at Vancouver, Christian Delbianco, that defense, they're also championship built. And I think a 3-game series, man, sign me up for this. I think you asked the question, and I'll pose a different question and my answer to it. So I will still go with 60. But if I had to put a number 1 to 10 on these two teams playing, and for it to go to 3 games, I'm giving it a 9. I think that if these two teams are to play in a 3-game series, each team probably wins at home. And then it goes back to Saskatchewan, and who knows what happens. You called it your NLL Finals preview. I would no doubt be happy if that was the case. I think Colorado has a little to say about that as well. But these two teams put on an absolute clinic, and I think that both these teams are destined for a very, very long playoff run.
Couple of things. Number one, Saskatchewan's fan base was at 77,319 in this game. I don't know if you saw the video that was posted on social media, but they were fired up in that goal. It was the season high, by the way, which is nice. Jake Naso cooking Max Adler at the dot. So Naso's back after a blip against Baptiste, who's been on another level this year. Coming into this game, the only person I was scared about on Vancouver was Delbianco. Because I felt like even though Chilion is really good, Delbianco is next level. Like he's LeBron of the goalies right now. He's the Michael Jordan. He's whatever. I feel like in this game, though, the reason I picked the Rush was exactly what I thought was not. I didn't see this game play out the way it did because Warriors jumped on them early. The Warriors were kind of cooking the offense early there, and the Rush once again settled back down and held them. Felt like scores for a lot of the second half there. And for me, that is why I'm at an 8 out of 10 that Saskatchewan would win this series. Because and we're going to get to Colorado with Captain. With Vancouver, I still see a lot of, even if they don't want to admit it, even if they don't even thinking it, the butting heads on offense. I feel like this offense in Vancouver should be a step above Saskatchewan. It's not playing like it because the Rush are one of the teams that are so talented, but like you said, they are the well-oiled machine, and the chemistry is extremely evident. And that, to me, is what matters because they're not a pushover roster. They are competitive. They're not Vancouver's roster, but their chemistry pushes them over the top, and that's why it's so surprising that they were just able to weather that early storm. I thought Vancouver might have pulled away with this thing early. It was getting scary. Question: You talked about this potential like a 3-game series, 9 out of 10. Who do you think? Who do you think would if it was sweep 2-0? Who would be more inclined to do that? You think?
I think it would have to be Saskatchewan, just
Okay.
given just the way that they look right now. But I would be shocked if it was a sweep with these
I
two
would be
teams,
shocked.
to
I
be
would
quite
agree.
honest.
I mean, both teams went at home for crying out loud to start.
Yeah.
So I like that. Any last thoughts on the game? Are you good?
No, I think just the one last thing on that is that, I'm not saying that Christian Del Bianco wasn't great, but he definitely wasn't sparkling. And that's kind of what would lead me into believing that Del Bianco's not going to have a sub 80% save percentage game in back-to-back games in a playoff series, right? So that's why I would also think this thing would go 3.
Also went way under 21.5 too, so that was incredible.
Oh yeah.
Swarm Roughnecks 11-6. Georgia improves to 7-3. My God. I mean, again, like I kept saying it. Spencer Connolly said Dobson goalie of the year. He's been MVP, and I don't think anyone called that. I thought Georgia would make the playoffs. I didn't think it would be this good. Calgary slips at 2-8 for what it's worth. So, Pat, and answer carefully here. Has Georgia entered tier 1 of the contenders?
Listen, Mike, they always say defense wins championships. And if you have a great defense and if you have an elite goaltending, which they have the most elite goaltender in the game right now with Dobson, who's MVP like lock right now, I think.
Yes.
I don't even think you can even debate it, having a historic season in between the pipes. With that being said, in a 3-game series against a Saskatchewan, a Colorado, heck, even a Vancouver, the lack of firepower still scares me when it comes to this offense. And I know they're starting to build that chemistry and they're starting to look a little bit better. Shane Jackson and Lyle Thompson with the 42 points each, which is fine. I don't know, Mike. I think I'm saying they're just below that tier. They're right below that tier. Right now, the tier at the top is Saskatchewan, it's Colorado, it's Vancouver, and then there's a slight drop, and there's Georgia sitting right there. I know there's a good chance I'm going to get flamed for this, but if we're nitpicking, if we're going to put them up against teams like Colorado that just 20 burgered Buffalo a couple of weeks ago and then almost did the same against Toronto, or Vancouver and Saskatchewan, who had a heavyweight fight and went blow for blow for blow. I don't know if Georgia's quite there when it comes regular season, one-off game. Sure, I know they can hang in there, and that defense and Dobson can do the trick. But what happens in a 3-game set is where do they have enough offense to put up against some of those elite goaltenders and great defense? That's where I'm just holding them back. That's the only thing. But do I think they're a top 4 team? Do I think they're a team that could be playing at the end in that Final Four? No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But I need to see a little more from the offense until I'm putting them with those other 3 teams.
I have a bad poker face, but is tier 2 your final answer?
Tier 2 is the final answer.
With that being said, Kyle the goalie needs to talk to me.
Let's go.
Oh, wait, you got to unmute. Got to unmute, Kyle. Got to unmute.
What's up, Patty? What's up,
Michael? How's it going, Kai? This is awesome, buddy.
It's a pleasure to be on with you today.
We need your top 5 teams, Kai.
Top 5 teams. I'm going to go through 5. I got my notes right here because it's kind of a last-minute thing I don't want to mess up. Number 5, Toronto Rock. CJ Kirst, Owen Hiltz are doing amazing this season. It looks like Toronto is more interested in fighting than they are actually winning games. But they're number 5. They've been doing good. Goalies doing good in the cage. We have good scorers on the field. Let's go right to number 4, Vancouver. Del Bianco. When you have Del Bianco on the field, you always have a chance to win the game.
Correct.
That's just a given right there.
Love it.
Number 3, this is a team that's very dear to my heart. Georgia Swarm.
Okay.
They haven't lost a game since that Mammoth game that I was actually there. I played on the field, and they lost that game. That was the last game they've lost. It was at home, and I think I should just stop playing on the field. It's getting like every single time like a bad omen to them, I guess. But Lau Thompson is back. Dobson is playing like MVP. There's not a debate there. He is going to be MVP, goalie of the year. It's insane what he's been doing on the field. So yeah, maybe I should stop playing on halftime. That's all I've got. And number 2, Colorado Mammoth. Dylan Ward has been doing amazing. Their only bad loss was to Georgia, but they've been playing unreal, and that's why they're number 2. They're a good team. And number 1, Saskatchewan. 9-1. There's not much you can say about Saskatchewan being 9 wins, 1 loss, and that's literally insane. Until you can get a team there that can beat them, that has a contend game with Saskatchewan, I think they're going to stay in number 1.
For the record, I did not know this was going to be that good. Saying,
what do you mean? It's kind of goalie. Of course, it's going to be great.
But have you ever given a top 5 team before, Kai? Because this was incredible.
Oh no, not really.
That was pretty good.
That's awesome.
So I guess you have Georgia number 3, so they're above Vancouver. They're a tier 1 team for you, right?
Yes, sir. Okay, obviously,
there you go.
Yeah, I was in backstage. I was like, "What is Pat saying?" I was like,
"Here's this. Oh, this is awesome."
But Brett Dobson has been playing amazing. Brett Dobson has been playing like Brett Dobson. Lau Thompson had an amazing behind the net goal last night. Lau Thompson has been playing like Lau Thompson from a few years back when he was actually like had the confidence to shoot the ball and not miss it and like cause a transition to defense and all this. And I really think that if we get this swing back into defense and offense and really getting that goaltender that we have and using him to win games, I think that we can be a number 2 team and maybe we can win that title,
First of all, I agree with those points. I want to look at the not drugs thing. That looks really good up there. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
One more thing I want to ask you before I let you go, Kai. I appreciate your time here briefly. Tell us, you have a big game this weekend for Lacrosse Out Cancer. Just tell us about that before you go.
Yes, 285 Lacrosse is partnering. We have on the men's side, we have Army in Michigan. And on the women's side, Boston and Michigan and Army FSU. So that's going to be a really good game. And Lacrosse Out Cancer is going to be there. And they're going to be repping Lacrosse Out Cancer, raising money for all of this. And I'm pretty sure you're going to put the link down below for that.
Yes.
So donate if you can, guys. Share my videos about Lacrosse Out Cancer if you can't donate. That's an amazing way to get the word out. And I'll be there with the Gooseit gear. I'm going to be giving away some Gooseit gear. So pull up. If you meet me, that's cool, man. We'll take a picture. I'll give you some Gooseit gear. So thank you very much for having me on. It's been great. Thank you, Patty, for your questionable takes.
I love it. I love it. Kai, keep doing what you're doing, man. You're well beyond your years. Mike was talking about Mackie Jenner's GOAT trajectory. I think you're on quite the trajectory as well, buddy. To combat what you said, I think, you know what? I like your top 5. Maybe I should have Georgia a little bit higher because I said it, and you know better than anyone. Goaltenders are the most important position in the game of box lacrosse. And in Brett Dobson, man, they got a pretty darn good one, an MVP caliber. So maybe I might change my take in a couple of weeks.
My guy was behind the curtain. No wonder I didn't get a swear for Coach of the Year comments. Thank you, Kai.
Love it, Kai.
Thank you.
Oh, that was good. That was the surprise of the show. Just
what a beauty. That's amazing. That's better than any surprise I could imagine, man.
My answer will now change to their tier 1. Forget what I was going to say before they were flirting with
you laid it out pretty good, man.
Yeah, I can't do it. All right, now it's time for a really fun segment here. It is time for the good people. We're not like the midget Kiss group that came from Las Vegas, but we are. Greggy's Grinder. All right, Pat, another fun segment here. Thank you again. There are guys this week, though, who may not have stood out in star power, but stood out in manpower. Tell me.
Listen, this is maybe to get back on Kai, the goalie's side a little bit here, but Jordan McIntosh, man, I know he's already won Greggy's Grinder before. I think you had him for a lunch pail as well. But what a season this guy's having. I don't know how he's not being talked about more for transition player of the year. I know he played a little more offense last night, but playing all over the floor, to be quite honest. 11 loose balls, 3 blocks, a goal, 2 assists, 3 points. Unbelievable what this vet is doing for the Swarm. Another guy that's getting a lot of praise, and I think in the last couple of weeks, I don't want to say his game has faltered a little bit, but it felt like Callum Jones was trying to do a little too much sometimes. But last game this weekend, he was doing a lot. 13 loose balls, 2 caused 2 turnovers, 2 blocks. But the big thing for me, Mike, look at the score line of 2 of Rochester's top lefties. Connor Fields, just 4 points, 1 goal, and zilch for Thomas McConvey. And who was covering those 2 guys in the 2-man game? Who was going 1-on-1 against them? It was Callum Jones. He was unbelievable in that game. A big reason why Ottawa came out with a big victory. But that's not who I'm going with for my grinder. I always, if I'm calling a game, Mike, I usually like to go with someone that I watch up close and personal because I got to see the most there. And this guy jumped off the page when it comes to the stats. He jumped off the page with the eye test. And of course, he is a guy that told us earlier this week that, hey, Pat, Mackey, Ashley, expect to see a lot of me. I'm going to be playing all over the floor of this game. And he was a spark plug, a big reason why Buffalo came out with a big victory. And he's going to be a big reason if Buffalo is going to want to come back and run it. It's Ian McKay.
Oh, wow.
5 assists, 6 points, caused turnover, was playing offense, running in transition, was playing defense all over the floor. Ian McKay, he's my grinder of the week.
I was not expecting that guy from Buffalo. I also was a guy from Buffalo. I was like, wow, okay. I was shocked. Well, now you know who I'm going with, you schmuck.
Yeah, I do.
Whatever, man. All right, so Callum Jones was up there, man. When you look at the McConvey to start this year was fantastic. Him and Connor Fields looked lost. I mean, I don't know if lost is the word. Whatever they did, they looked limited.
Frustrated.
And the 3-piece of zeros was bad for McConvey. Didn't help out, especially when they only lost by 2. There he is. There he is. Even though so I want to give love to Tim Edwards because I feel like Colorado's got a lot of Andrew Q this and Jack Hanna that and Dylan Ward's back. But you know what? Tim Edwards has been great, has been awesome. I went with the doctor, though. Dr. Disnew. The guy came back and was a legend on the field. In the box score, by the way, I know this is not a bit. Oh, by the way, I mean, I know
I was going to say
he might come. Captain America might come, but Mitch Disnew, it's not. That wasn't even planned. I just realized. Anyways, Mitch Disnew, though, had, what was it again? 14 loosies, a blocky, and a causey. So it was pretty good. And we're waiting for.
Yeah. Mike, Disnew was obviously, he was on my list as well. I had a feeling you were going to go with him, whether it was a nominee. And no, but for good reason. But I actually think he was robbed. And let's go back on Wednesday or whatever, take a look at his numbers to see if they've changed, because he was only credited with 1 block. In the first quarter, I tracked him for at least 2. And he had 2 clear blocks early on in that game, and they only had him down for what, 1 turnover. He had at least 2 or 3.
Baloney.
Just to match the baloney in your lunchbox. That's how baloney it was. He was unbelievable. It just goes to show you, Mike, how important and how pivotal he was when this Buffalo team went out to get him, and to have him just not in the lineup. I don't think it's really fair for us to be like, Buffalo's washed. Look at all these old guys on the turf. They're no good. It's like, well, guys, let's remember they're missing Justin Martin, who retired and was their best shutdown defender. And now they're missing their best takeaway defender in Mitch DeSnew. Do that against all defenses across the NLL. Watch what happens to their defense.
Take away Callum Jones. Take away Reed Bowering or Owen Grant. It's ridiculous.
Bingo. Looks what's going to happen. And he comes back into the lineup. How much better did that defense look? How much better did Matt Vince look in between the cage? Mitch DeSnew is one of the X factors when it comes to Buffalo and what they're going to be able to do down the stretch here.
Oh, my leg. Doctor, check it out. There you go, Dr. DeSnew. Thank you, sir. I did want to get to this. This is great. Oh, yes, mini kiss. That deserves more commentary. I love how it's from me. His girlfriend said that can't. Dude, that reminds me of a Taylor Swift knockoff that Philly did. I don't know what's worse, a midget kiss or a. You know what? I'll say Taylor Swift knockoff is worse. I'm no disrespect to those artists. Midget kiss is at least funny, okay? The knockoff Taylor Swift cracked me open, dude.
You know
no
what?
Comment,
hey,
no comment.
No, Will, Little Kiss, man. They can rock out. Also hilarious that their lead singer just was a regular sized dude.
Come on, man.
I thought that was awesome. But man, dude, people like there was a real buzz around it. They down in Vegas, they must put on a great show. I watched a bit of it because obviously here in Canada with the ESPN stream, we don't get your guys' commercials. So during commercials, we were hearing it. They were awesome. Yes, they were awesome. They can rock, buddy. So put some respect on Mini Kiss's name, okay?
I love it's not midget, it's Mini, just to not offend anybody. Dude, that's I was made for whatever.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
That was great.
That would have been a great theme song, but we would get in trouble for it. It's bad enough that betting gets us in trouble, but another whatever. Thanks, dude. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Blue cool bets. You gotta love it. Pat Gregoire, everybody. He is awesome, but we knew that, and so was Kai the goalie. I was trying so hard not to laugh. All right, folks. When we come back, we are going to talk to El Capitan Picks. Even though I don't know why he's coming on my show, I'm the one who hit the ladder. We'll talk next. This is Dilly Dive. You're watching it. You're loving it. We'll be right back, folks. Keep the comments blazing. Bye.
You're listening to North American Talk Radio, the all-new talk radio station featuring sports, movies, politics, mental health, and more. Check us out at natalkradio.com and subscribe today. Buy event tickets straight from our website to help the cause and get tickets to your favorite events for less. That's natalkradio.com. Thanks for listening.
Am I Captain America since I'm the one hitting the ladders now? I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, you just hit it. I think you got to get up and give us your best. Who do you think you are? I am.
Who do you think you are? I am. Oh, that's right. I forgot that. Yeah, this guy. You know what? I am happy right now. And wouldn't you know, Kai the goalie's team was the one who finished us off.
Yes,
I just want
sir.
to I got to get to, where is it? So we hit $1,140.79. I didn't tail it, but if you did, good for you guys. You're welcome. Somebody asked me, I believe, was it Yard Sale Lacrosse Club on Instagram, was like, hey, who do you got, like, over or under 21.5 for Oshawa San Diego? I would tell them over before the game started. Captain, they reached 20. Because Oshawa didn't hold up their end of the bargain. We're going to get to those bastards. But anyways. What'd you think of Minicast, by the way?
Yeah, they were wicked.
Did you get to tune into that, or were you not paying attention to that when it happened?
No, I was a little busy that night. I didn't tune into too much.
Okay, that's fair. All right, hopefully you tune into some NLL action, though, because it was giving us action. Mammoth defeat the Doggies on 13-12. We're going to skip that one for now, but just know that Las Vegas fell to 4-5. Andrew Q had 5 goals, 1 primary assist, and 8 loose balls in that game. But let's just start off with Black Bears Nighthawks. Black Bears rallied in the fourth quarter in what was an excruciatingly low-scoring game. I thought under 24.5, we were going to sweat it. No, Rochester didn't even try to score in this game. 6-5 for the Black Bears. Now 4-5 for Rochester. Chef T had 2 goals and 12 loose balls and 2 caused turnovers. What a weapon he is. Zach Higgins, 50 saves all of a sudden. That came out of nowhere. And then the question is here, Captain, is Rochester's season, I know it's not mathematically, but come on, Captain, is it over now?
I think they'll squeak into the playoffs, but they got a lot of holes in this ship, and
yep.
You know, they started off very hot. Everybody eats, and then they run into, you know, a couple of hot goaltenders, and suddenly they're only putting up eight in a game. I definitely think there's cause for concern here. I don't think their season. I don't think you could bury their season yet. They might be able to make a move at the deadline to give them a slight edge, but their consistency, like we've always talked about Ottawa's consistency not being there, Rochester's consistency is even worse. Like the highs are higher, but those lows are even lower. So, I'd sound the alarm, and you know, if they don't right the ship in the next couple of weeks, then
the British are coming. The British are coming. The season is falling. I do. So you mentioned about the shovel. I know I shouldn't have one in this room, but I'm just looking around because I got to bury him. I'm so done. Like, and I know it's because part of like my Oshawa fandom here. I just thought they were better than what they were, and you know, silly me. That was actually a song I made one time. Who cares? Here's my thing. At what point? Because I know the fans like myself and media like myself, you know, we want to root for this team. At what point do you prove it to yourselves, Captain? Like, I just don't know. Like I was saying, you know, for their own sanity, can you beat the contenders? How to forget contenders? Can you beat Ottawa? Because Ottawa, like you said, I've always criticized them for being a little bit wishy-washy, a little bit roller coastery, theme park-ish, or theme park adjacent. Well, Rochester, like you said, is probably the biggest roller coaster on the park. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't know what we're doing here. That thing's going all around the circles, and we're going, like you said, the highs are high and the lows are low. I'm done. I'm throwing them in. Let me get a piece of paper here, all right? Hold on real quick. I'm throwing them in the Oshawa cabinets. I'm done with them. I'm done. So, any last thoughts you get on that game? Thank you, Captain. All right, OTCB commented up here. Utica Yeti says, Lyle found the fountain of youth. What move can Rochester make to best improve their team? I don't even care anymore. This roster's stacked, man. You plug one defender in there, I don't even know what happens. I
think it's their defense that they could make a move. I figured Hartley was going to have a different, you know, mindset this season, but
this game was Hud's crap. But you're right. Like he didn't really do his end of the bargain in the last couple of games either. So
even Hartley, like against Vancouver, like letting up that many.
I mean, if you insert Kyle Rubish here, it feels like Kyle Rubish, you know, we float him around like a prostitute trying to save different teams, and it never works out. So we tried San Diego, we tried Oshawa, like throw them to Rochester, they'll save them too. And not saying he's not good. I'm saying the teams are so bad. I'm sick of it. All right, Seals defeat the Firewolves, and we have boots on the ground in this game, even though the boots were being a little bit interesting for us, but we did get some boots on the ground there. So there were. Let me just check the exact attendance again because I had it with me and then I lost it. Give me 10 seconds here. Doom. This is presented by the good people at Elevated Truck and Crane. An Elevated Truck and Crane can help you raise it up. 5,418 people, and boots on the ground claims. We'll say, for the sake of argument, a quarter of the fans left, even though it was said to us a third. I don't know. The barn would have been pretty much empty if a third of those people left. But, Captain, I mean, how disappointed are you in Oshawa? This is your time to spank them, to do whatever you want to Oshawa. All right. I think
they've got enough hurt in that locker room right now. I don't think they need any more spankings. I don't like. We've been emotionally wanting this team to put up numbers, do Correct. Good. I don't understand, man. And these guys are killing me. Like I'm a Roughnecks fan, but my heart just can't leave Oshawa alone here. Like, what is happening? They win a game, lose 4, win a game, lose 5. Like, what's going on? I thought, maybe the move from Albany to Oshawa would break that curse that they had going on. But yeah, it's I'm nervous for them. I'm sad. I'm disappointed. I'm hurt. I wish they would do better. I wish they would win more. I wish they would, steal some of the Rocks fans. But yeah, I'm beyond words essentially at this point. I bring out a thesaurus and go down here, but it's a lot of hate or a lot of hurt from this team right now,
I'm glad you mentioned that because while we're here, we're gonna look at disappointed synonyms. All right, ready for this?
Yeah.
We're saddened, upset, let down, disheartened, downhearted, cast down, downcast, depressed, discouraged, and I'll add another one. I'm crushed. I am crushed. You ever seen we call it a beer can? Like when I would drink a Mountain Dew, you just to the can. That's me soul right now, Captain. That's me soul. And we can talk about how San Diego Seals are 5-4. I'm like, who the heck have you beaten? You beat Vancouver, and then that was like your signature win. But I mean, I'm so done, dude. Like I know I've said I was done. I kept picking. I'm like, well, maybe this game. Like I keep saying they're going to win more than 2 games, right? Right?
Yeah.
I don't know anymore, dude. Like
I would hope so. I think what crushes me the most is that I've been to so many of these Oshawa home games and I've talked to so many of these fans and they're so excited. And to be honest, they still are excited to have this team here. But every time I see it, like that San Diego game, every outside goal that went in, a tear fell for, each fan I've talked to, just thinking man, we were so excited for this product and they're not showing up.
You've got some of the funniest quotes, man. You said for every outside goal, a tear went out for every Oshawa fan. Oh my God!
Did you not see that first quarter, dude? How did the trainer not run down some sunscreen to Dougie? The back of his neck was burning, pal.
Oh my God!
Awful.
I'm surprised that you've never joined any daily shows before this, man. That was pretty good, Captain. That was pretty good.
Hey, man.
That was impressive. We can use all the emphasis in the world. I do want to mention as well, with the Oshawa team, the Durham region is supporting these guys. And Alex Simmons said it best before the season went to hell was, winning attracts fans. And you look at Colton Watkinson, the way he's talking. Lucas Argier asked Glenn Clark, hey, is there any positives? That dude said no 5 times. And I'll say it again. I said fire Glenn Clark 2 losses ago. Just because you're a good coach does not mean you can't be fired. And the NLL is going to have to learn that. And Glenn Clark might be we got to make an example out of somebody. Whether it's Matt Sawyer, hello, Mimico Trike, whether it's Glenn Clark, whether it's Pat Merrill, one of these guys is going to fall so hard. And at this point, again, you're like 2 years ago. I keep rewinding to this point. Albany makes the finals. There's a good chance they can make Buffalo look the way they made other teams look and just get in their heads. Nope, didn't happen. You bring in Dyson Williams, didn't even change anything. You are awful last year. And this year, I think you're worse. Because last year, okay, that's behind you. Let's build off of it. Let's not do that again. And this year, captain, they're worse. Like, I'm going to go back to the I'm going to go to the Albany games, all right? Captain, they were 3-9. They were 3-9 this season. The Oshawa Fire Wolves, make sure I have it correct here. They are 2-9. They are 2-9. This is not acceptable. At some point, I don't know what to do. I also want to mention Doug Jameson has not been good anymore, man. I know, because you heard Cole Watkins say something interesting. We cleaned up some things on our back end. Captain, I couldn't tell with the goals allowed recently. And that was the one thing, okay, that will be a constant for us. Well, now the other part's holding their end of the bargain, even though the one goal in the first half checks out. We spent a lot of time on Oshawa, not because they let us into the barn, because this team was a team. They got horses, man. At what point did them things start galloping? I don't know. A tear fell every outside shot Ben McIntosh put in. Thank you, sir. All right. Roughnecks defeat the Wings 10-9. Now that's boring. Anyways, which city do you want Philadelphia Wings to play in next season?
All right, well, I'm going to throw a loop in here.
Okay.
I feel like I kind of bounced off of seeing a team in Quebec.
Oh.
But I'm going to throw in London, Ontario.
London, England, but London, Ontario works too.
I know Oshawa's not doing good, but they've been able to keep a good fan base. And even with Oshawa here, the Rock have kept a good fan base. Buffalo, south of the border, keeps a really good fan base. They get a lot of the Ontarians that drive down from Southern Ontario to go see a game. I think there's a good core fan base in Southern Ontario that you could probably house another NLL team in London, and they have a very good OHL
that's fair.
organization there that's done good for many years. They always seem to have good teams, draw good crowds. So yeah, I'm going to throw that out there, because even with London getting a team, like Oshawa can still attract many fans from like the Muskokas, the Kawarthas, Peterborough, like Kingston area.
Yeah.
The Rock are going to, keep out of that Niagara, the teams from Niagara and Hamilton, the whole bit. And then, you'll have London getting the Southern Ontario crowd. So I'm going to throw that one out there.
Okay. So part of me wants to go like the London Lakers but I feel like would Peterborough be okay with that? Would it make any sense? Because obviously the Wings name is going to stay in Philadelphia, I feel like. I don't think it just transfers cities. I could be wrong, but I feel like that would almost be like, if you're going to get rid of them, at least like don't stab their fan base in the back on the way out. Or what's left of the fan base. I'm surprised you didn't give a little love to Edmonton there. I was actually impressed with that, actually. My first option will be Philadelphia, because I don't know if you knew that was actually that was on the answer board of things you could give. But I'm going to go with Charlotte. I know Kai mentioned Nashville. I know, Captain, you're in the area. I feel like a Southern team that's not too far south would be nice. Now, Captain, I do want to mention, I have not Googled this. I should have before the show. Brett Thru via the OTCB podcast with Pat Gregoire and Teddy Jenner, even though Teddy was the one interviewing Brett Thru. Video, by the way, which don't think I've seen from Brett in a while. Teddy asked him, about the expansion, things like that. or about like just he asked him about if he originally about Philadelphia, and then Brett talked about all this stuff. One of the factors that plays into the NLL's getting a team in a city is their direct flights to Vancouver and Toronto. I'm like, man, that's a good point. Like, if you go to Charlotte or Nashville, I would think those two might, but I've been campaigning for Savannah. It's not going to happen. But like Savannah or Jacksonville, I'm not entirely sure if they've got a direct flight. So I do wonder, because that has to, if we're going to do the unified standings, that has to matter because of the way it's shafting teams with the money there. I'm curious. It's a conversation we had. I hope it's local. I think it will be local, but London would be crazy, even though it's Canada. And then Charlotte would be fun. Nashville's interesting, even though I feel like it's a little bit kind of in no man's land. I don't mind, like no man's land compared to the rest of the NLL. I mean, the problem is another thing you mentioned about London. The Northeastern Lacrosse League is going to kill me after a while, dude. Like we have to branch out just a little bit.
If the team can stay in Philly, like that would be my first go. Especially because I'm pretty sure they're one of the only teams that does the dog. You bring your dog to a game.
Oh,
so I don't want to see them leave till I can bring Max down to a game.
Yeah, say, come on, Max. He's going to take all your women. All your chihuahuas will be in shambles. Oh, jeez. All right, listen, that was too much on that. Colorado. After they partied and beat Vegas anyways, because their defense allowed 12 goals. I'm pretty sure they're doing something the previous night. They then take on Toronto and didn't even. I don't think Toronto had a chance. I believe in the first couple of minutes of the game it was like 4-0. Troy Halachuk, peace, bro. Because Steve Orman came in, didn't do any better. 16-8 was the score here. Colorado was at 8-2. Toronto falls to 5-4 despite a winning record and kind of the goalies number 5 team. Andrew Kua had 4 more goals in this game. Of those 6 assists, only 2 were primary, just for the record. Want to throw that out there? Captain. El Capitan picks. Even though you didn't hit a ladder this week and I did, I'll still ask you first. Is Colorado as good as Saskatchewan?
Oh boy. Here
This
we go.
Tough.
Hey. Well, I'm not sold on Saskatchewan, but y'all also know I'm not sold on Vancouver either.
Whoa,
Colorado.
You said you're not sold on who?
You heard me. Did I stutter?
Oh,
I don't think so, pal.
What?
They might have slightly moved down the fraud watch, but
Right.
they're still there, baby. I don't trust them. But Colorado, they are a very fascinating team right now. Get your set together over there, Bob.
How did I even do this? I was like, what the heck? We'll wear it.
Go to commercial break for technical issues here. No,
whatever.
I think Colorado, as good as Saskatchewan right now, no. But I'm in the boat here where I believe a team like Colorado and a team like Vancouver, I feel like they're slowly building and gaining momentum as the season goes on, where you might almost say, other than a couple of recent woes, like Saskatchewan's basically peaked. I'm going to get a lot of hate for all this, but
I know. I'm waiting for it.
This is why I think like I'm excited to watch this go into the playoffs, especially when we get to 2 and 3 game series. We could see a lot of things happening with those 3 teams if one of them doesn't get shocked in a 1-game elimination beforehand. So yeah, we got a lot going on here.
Quite a lot of my sets falling apart. I mean, the NLL gods heard you damn Saskatchewan. I'm screwed over here. Thank you, sir. So yeah. You mentioned I want to talk about the end of that part. I'm not entertaining the rush take, but can you see Buffalo or Halifax sneaking in backdoor suddenly? Not like that, but like, can you see them sneaking into the playoffs? Can you see? I'm sorry. Can you see them upsetting one of these top 3? Because that's an interesting point.
I've really enjoyed flapping my gums on
He's got a platform, but he won't shut up now.
on the Bandits, with them having their struggles recently. There's definitely a possibility that the first round of the playoffs we could see an upset happening. Don't sleep on a Georgia, Buffalo, or Halifax leading into these one-game eliminations. But we're getting tighter and tighter as we get closer to the playoff push here.
The innuendos here are disturbing me. Kind always said you fell off the ladder and bumped your head. Okay.
On every rung on the way down. No, I'm just looking at I'll give you an example of the St. Louis Blues when they won the Stanley Cup. No one even coming off of the All-Star break, they were in damn near last place, and then they built that momentum from there right into and through the playoffs. So there's a part of me that I think Saskatchewan's the powerhouse right now, but as teams adjust and adapt moving into the playoffs, I can see a Buffalo or a Georgia, or a Halifax sneaking in there and making some waves.
So I guess my answer to the question of is Colorado as good as Saskatchewan, I'm going to say I wrote down no. I don't know if I can say it though. I think yes. I have my doubts about Vancouver because I think that Vancouver's offense has shown me a couple of times this year they get a little bit cocky and a little bit selfish. And even though we're just trying to do the right thing, but your play tendency is not showing that. And again, I want to remind people in this game, just so I have it on the record here, and I want to be accurate with what happened in this game. Some of the Saskatchewan-Vancouver game, how about the fact that this game, Vancouver led 3-1, they led 5-2, and at that point, they went straight to the bottom. Nothing happened. They scored 3 goals after that. And I'm like, Colorado's offense seems very unselfish. They seem like Rochester or Ottawa with a defense. It's ridiculous. They've got an all-star, they got a superstar goaltender who was the last team to beat Buffalo in a series. They have Andrew Q, and if you told me coming in this year that a team with Will Malcolm and Jack Hanna and Ryan Lee, even though he's been hurt and everybody else, that Andrew Q would be by far the best player, I would say you're crazy. But he has been awesome. And again, they don't care who scores every night. The shots on goal for this game against Toronto was 10, 10, 10, 10 for all these guys, and they're all eating it. You throw in the fact that Dylan Ward there is, like I said, they are the team I wish I would have put there with Saskatchewan instead of Vancouver preseason. I don't trust anyone else besides Colorado, and I see a scenario where Colorado gives them the best run for their money. So I see a scenario where Mammoth could win the finals, even though I'm not picking it. I see a scenario where they get it, but I think it's a 2-team race. I think it's the Rush and the Mammoth.
Right now, I think it's a 2-team race, but let's touch this subject again in 4 weeks from now, and we'll see where we're to. That's
fair. Did you like the goalie surprise? That was kind of cool.
That was great. Yeah,
I was proud of the kid. Top 5s. Toronto Rock entering the top 5 is quite the scenario. I'm not mad though. Captain, thank you for coming on the show. We need to get you some Roughnecks player shirts. Now they're available, so we'll get you a Dilly Dive shirt. We'll get you a Roughnecks. Well, that works. But Pro Joy, who the heck are they anymore?
So I think I got this 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Back when Edmonton had a team. It was one of the rivalry games where the Calgary fans were taking the bus to Edmonton. Yeah. And won it on the contest.
Oh, a contest? What was the contest?
I got it. I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was a question about Dixon's career points when Curtis Dixon was on Calgary at that time.
Wait, that's it?
Yeah, I nailed it. And I won a shirt.
Yeah, well,
Be
that's
happy
true.
for your boy. Come
No, because
on.
but what a layup! What a bunch of casuals in Calgary. My goodness,
Buddy, back when NLL was good, teams were giving away jerseys. We had buses going to rivalry games. Like now it's
one more thing. Have you seen the Elijah Gash hit?
Yes, I have.
We have to do. Let's talk about it before you leave.
Oh, okay, yeah, throw me on the spot.
You're welcome. So people crush Ron Hartley, and I shouldn't give an opinion on this, but I'm going to. I'm asking you. I mean, it feels like the NLL is going to go to a defenseless receiver thing. I thought we already did that in that rule. Apparently, I was wrong about that. I don't know. It was definitely like textbook below the neck area. But man, talk about breaking the guy's ribs or collapsing his lung. That's about as tough as it gets there. I don't know.
Yeah, that one looked it looked worse. It looked more awkward.
In real time.
I feel like it was, I feel like out of the two plays, like I'm gonna lean that one might have been a little worse than the Hartley play, but with the goaltending equipment, I can understand why so many people like are against like the Hartley hit over the Gash hit.
Yeah.
But either way.
We also saw Alex Bouquet's hit, which also 1,000% played a fact in that. But
so we have like the history of that. Kind of shines more light on people's opinions for the Hartley one. But I'm gonna put that Gash hit right there with in the mix of all three in a sense.
I'll say this because I'm gonna. People are gonna say this is a dumb take, and it probably is. I think that the production crew in Colorado deserves a lot of credit for that. There's a lot of credit for the fact that it's not as bad as we thought. My whole thing with Rochester was that if you looked at the other angle, and it was a crappy other angle they had, but it was like, okay, I can see like he kind of lets. It was in real time. It's like a vehicle head-on collision. But it's okay, like when you see the angle, which no one else was talking about besides me and like two other people. It was like, this guy's getting out of the league. It's okay, we can pregame fight in front of kids. This Gash shit immediately, not only was there no fight about it, there was 5 different angles of the head and why it was clean. Like, cry me a river, man. I'm so tired. I feel like people, I feel like I'm going to be honest with you guys. 80 or 90% of sports fans do not watch games live. I'm going to say that over. I don't know if the number's that high. I think it's more than half. And I think that, I'll put it this way. I'm going to say 70% of fans probably do not watch games live. I'm going to say 90% that comments did not watch it live for certain. I'll have to do the math on that one day. My point is, you cannot tell me that both of those hits were not both egregious and bad. We can't say one. I think Gash might have been worse. I don't know. I think people talk about a hospital passage as a coping mechanism. I'm like, a defender still has to have a little bit of respect for his competitor there, in my opinion. And it bothers me that we pretend the other Hartley angle doesn't exist, but because we got 5 different sides of Elijah Gash, it's clean. Give me a break, dude. Give me a break. Where's the outrage? I'm okay there's no outrage, but I'm just wondering, Hartley got the bad end of the stick on the production crew because Rochester's cameras are not good.
Yeah, the only other, the 2 points I'll make before we end this here is you won't see the response from Colorado like you did with the Rochester, Vancouver, because Colorado's, I don't believe their style of play this season is to get into those scrums when things happen.
True.
So you can't quite base the hit, your thought on the hit with the reaction of the players afterwards. Because we also know Vancouver, Rochester's a lot of emotions going on there.
Yeah.
Regardless, we're all going to have different opinions on this. We always are. And it's good that we do. And as long as, again, like I've said, we're not insulting each other over different opinions, then this is the way it goes. My take, and it's a different take because I'm not as
I think you wrapped it up well there, because President Vice Trojan, by the way, you wrapped it up well. I think that is a good point, because I also think I'll be honest, in my 4 years, this is the year I've seen the most comments on stuff like this. And I think that's also shows the growth of the league. I think that fans are seeing more, they're interacting more, and I do think that helps a ton in viewership. I'm hoping it continues on the upper trajectory. I also want to circle back to that Brett Thru OTCB interview. He said, because Teddy asked about how they balance their reaction to that stuff from a league perspective, he said, is it legal or not? I think OTCB commented that they deleted their tweet about the hit because it was a 2-minute. They reduced it from 5 to 2. I can see either or. I could see 5. I think they just thought like below the neck was okay, even though it was a defensive player, whatever. So yeah, it's a good point. I like I said, I like the fact there's more discourse, because it does create change. A lot of times for the better, sometimes for worse, but I like the change. Like the NLL is still very physical, will always be physical. You don't want it turning completely violent, because it looks stupid after a while. That's cool. I like it. Thank you, Captain, and thanks for accepting the curveball there, sir.
No worries. Have a good day, buddy.
Bye, Captain. All right, folks, my props, my production set went to crap. We still have 3 stars to give away, so when we come back, let's talk about it, and then we'll head off. This is Dilly Dive.
You're listening to North American Talk Radio, the all-new talk radio station featuring sports, movies, politics, mental health, and more. Check us out at natalkradio.com and subscribe today. Buy event tickets straight from our website to help the cause and get tickets to your favorite events for less. That's natalkradio.com. Thanks for listening. You're listening to North American Talk Radio, the all-new talk radio station featuring sports, movies, politics, mental health, and more. Check us out at natalkradio.com and subscribe today. Buy event tickets straight from our website to help the cause and get tickets to your favorite events for less. That's natalkradio.com. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back to Daily Dive with a new set, You are watching the only live Monday through Friday lacrosse talk show on the planet. It is Monday, February 16th, 2026. We hope you enjoyed your weekend. Hope you had a safe weekend. Everything went fine for you. Even though if your team lost, we still hope you had fun. It's time to give our 3 stars of the weekend. Reminder, there is merchandise found at natalkradio.us/NLL. It feels like we're getting close to the launch of the NLL merchandise. So get it before it's gone. I'm hoping it wouldn't ever be gone. I'm excited though. 3 stars of the weekend. No graphics ready yet, but my 3rd star is going to go to Ben McIntosh against Oshawa. He was fantastic. 5 goals, 1 primary assist. He was awesome. Got to Dougie way too many times and ended up helping them win by 6 by a score of 13-7 and causing a lot of fans to leave at halftime, actually, when this game was 9-1. Not good for the Firewolves. Andrew Q. Now, the way this works for me, I don't combine games in the weekend. I think that's unfair to the rest of the players. I feel like, because obviously Andrew Q is going to have a great performance in both games. So I went with the game against Las Vegas, 5 goals, 1 primary assist, 8 loose balls, and they needed every bit of those 5 goals because the Mammoth beat the Dogs by just 1 by a score of 13-12. He had 4 goals in the next game, but they didn't need him that much. Finally, Zach Higgins. He has been not good at all this year. And he walks into Rochester, even though Callum Jones played a big part in this, but Zach Higgins, 50 saves and just 8 goals allowed. He is our 1st star of the weekend. Again, Ben McIntosh for the San Diego Seals, Andrew Q for the Colorado Mammoth against Vegas, and then Zach Higgins for the Ottawa Black Bears. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's show. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate Kyle the goalie for coming on the show. That was a last-second edition, by the way, or last couple hours edition at least. We appreciate you guys for commenting and watching. Thanks to Captain and Pat Gregoire. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. This has been Daily Dive. Bye.